Hello and welcome to the Walk in Love podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to talk about
Something.
The Walk in Love podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. There it is. That's the line. The Walk in Love podcast is a weekly conversation between Brooke and I about rhythms, faith, emotions, parenting, love, togetherness. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find language to live a more full life, a joy-filled life. I can't. Why is my brain?
Are you okay?
We'll get into that.
Okay. My turn. If you like your whoa. Wow. Should we start over?
No, let's go with it.
We're committed. Yeah. Don't ever start over. If you like your living to line up with your listening.
You feel like you're listening to line up with your living.
Wow. What is happening? You're in the right place. That's all I know. You're in the right place.
Okay.
No notes.
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 No.
That wasn't blaringly obvious at the beginning of this.
Obvious.
I think it's also because we switched the way the mics are.
It's not. You can't blame it on the microphone.
No, here's what it is.
Good try.
Just a little update on what's been happening.
Okay.
Flashback to a week ago.
Okay.
A week and a day ago.
Yes.
8
days ago.
Go on a walk with Daisy.
Okay.
Daisy's really into walking. She got some good shoes, pokey. So we put her shoes on. She basically never has pants on, but she's got a diaper. We're walking around the block. We have like a loop on our street is a loop. So we walk around and we go through this little cut through that like cuts so we don't have to go to the main road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on that
cut. Do you do the cut through every time?
Not every time, but sometimes she asks for it. And this time she did.
I only do it when Cheese is following me because I don't want to take him to the main road.
And so we're going through the cut through and I have a little, I don't know, I'm going to call it a little tingle. Little tingle in my tummy. And I think,
definitely not a tinkle.
No, a tingle.
Tingle.
And I think, I have to do the opposite of tingle. I have to use the bathroom. Pretty badly.
Yeah.
Like
Vegas level.
Yeah, we're not at Vegas level, but we're like
you're looking around.
If I was early in the walk, I think by the end of the walk we would have reached Vegas level proportions, but we're not quite there. And so I pick up Daisy and I'm like, we're just gonna hustle home.
Yeah.
And get home. No Vegas level incidences. Everything goes smoothly. And then I, come out and I'm like, man, my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
And from like the moment of the cut through till
on your walk,
laying in bed, feeling like death was upon me.
Yeah.
Was about 30 minutes. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
In those 30 minutes, other than my body betrayed me. And it went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And I just felt horrible.
Yeah.
And I knew it was coming. I just knew that I was going to throw up. And I'm not a barfer.
No, you're not.
I would say the last time I barfed was 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sure enough, I'm a local now. Thrown up on the islands.
I love that as the indicator of just like which bodily functions have happened. Okay, but have you done this here? Yeah. Have you done that here?
So, which was a real bummer because Brad was in town and Brooke and I were going to have him on the podcast and just have a ball. But that whole day I did not move out of bed.
No,
I
didn't.
felt horrible, which was real fun. It's just like so fun to be sick. But it was just like 24 hours and then I was fine.
Yeah, for the most part.
It was really strange, but I think it was strange how quickly it happened because it wasn't like food poisoning. I didn't just eat and then go on the walk.
Yeah.
We were just hanging out all day and all of a sudden.
But then we realized 2 other friends had the same thing happened to them. And both of them assumed it was food poisoning because that's literally how quickly it came on.
So
that I said to you, it's kind of like food poisoning, except you didn't eat anything just now. And so it was obviously something else because then Sunny got it. So in the last 8 days, you've thrown up once. She's thrown up 7, 8 times.
Yeah. She kept trying to drink and I just knew to not.
Yeah. Bless her heart.
Yeah. So good times, fun times, fun times. for a week. You need to get
stretching.
Yeah, I love stretching. And so yeah, that's what happened last week that caused us to miss the podcast, which was a real bummer. Like it was even an extra Bummer Town USA because Brad Ellis from Ellis Custom Creations was here. If you didn't see on the Facebook page, I was on the Ghost Runners podcast twice. You can hear me in the background over Jeff Bethke yelling. But I'm there. And
you were there on 3 times.
Well, the one hasn't come out yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I actually think it comes out today.
Yeah, that would make sense. Well, Monday. It depends on.
Yeah, it depends on when you're listening. I think
Tuesday.
the episode with the third episode that I'm on, which is just me and Brad, comes out by the time you're listening to this. But when it was me, Brad, Jeff, and Jake, it was so fun. Bethke is obviously he's just as fully himself.
Yeah,
he's loud. He is aggressive in his opinions.
Yeah,
but that's just who he is.
Yeah,
and I love every second of it. And it was funny. They were talking about I guess they were looking at video clips, and Jeff reacts very largely to things. And there's one moment where he starts screaming and clapping and he's just so pumped up. He's losing his mind. And Brad and Jake in the video can't handle it. And I'm apparently just sitting there
looking at him.
Yeah. Okay.
This adds up. This is normal.
Yeah, I'm used to it. But I do want to just sort of take a victory lap of celebration because I dominated the Mount Rushmore segment.
Yeah, you did.
Just absolutely crushed those guys.
You have so much practice.
Yeah.
They do theirs a little differently. But
So their Mount Rushmore is, and they do it with 3 people every time because they have a producer that sits there while they record timing. And so the Mount Rushmore is a snake draft. So Brad, then Jake, or it was me, then Jeff, then Brad, then Jake gets 2 picks, and then it comes
all
back
the way
around.
back. Yeah.
And we each had to pick Candy, Mount Rushmore of Candy.
You also do it, or they also do it where you can't pick the same thing twice, like an actual draft.
Yeah. So
you and I often are it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Which would be a good one.
But absolutely just crushed them. So that felt good. That felt good
real good.
Represent the Walk and Love podcast on the Ghost Runners podcast and come away with a W. Just felt strong.
Yeah.
And those guys are just absolutely great. So they were here. We did that. Brad said that his
crazy. That was a week ago.
Yeah. Brad said that his stomach was hurting too. Remember the night we played?
He did have a day of that.
Yeah. So it must have just been something going around. So we did that. I got to go to see their show, Jake and Trey's show, which was interesting. They did a fantastic job. Smaller crowd than I think they're used to just because it's Maui.
Yeah.
And so have we talked about this? No, I don't think we have. And I was so nervous
for them.
Yeah.
I
guess I talked with I talked
because
I think I talked with Brad about
strangers.
this. That's why I feel like I was like,
oh, you guys talked about it, yeah.
Anyways, I was so nervous for him, so I felt like I was laughing extra hard. Which makes you sound like a crazy
You do.
person.
You instantly sound.
But there was a crazy person in the audience. So
stressful.
Jake's set went great. They both do crowd work stuff, which I think is just a bold move. But it also allows, I think it lets the audience relax a little bit. But some of the crowd answers that Jake got were just funny. At one point he's asking if there's any picky eaters out there, and he's like, okay. And one guy raised his hand. He's like, okay, what'd you have for dinner? The guy's like, chips. End of story.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what about lunch? Pineapple. Okay. And when you eat your pizza, how do you like it? And he goes, folded. Which Jake was like, I've done this 50 times and no one has ever said folded. Yeah. So anyways, his set goes great. Trey comes on. Trey's funny. And he starts doing some crowd work about this wedding bit that he's doing. And then all of a sudden, from what sounded like in the very last row, but that couldn't have been because it wasn't sold out.
Yeah.
Someone yells, make fun of me! Make fun of me!
Oh my word.
And Trey's in the middle of talking with a microphone.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, but you can hear him. It's not that big of a venue.
No,
and
it's not.
It's not that crowded. And so he yells it and then he goes, and this is what I thought he said, but he said something different. So I'm first going to tell you what I thought he said. He goes, make fun of me. Make fun of me. I'm Southern. I have hepatitis B and I'm poor. Which I'm like, so I'm thinking, why would you sandwich that one in the middle?
What did you say?
He didn't say he had Hep B. Which
okay.
Yeah.
Good for that guy.
Because like I was like Southern poor. Okay, like I'm Southern and
there could
poor.
be bits on that, but
I'm
like,
short. Like what? Like those are
what's
just
the
like
specific bit on Hep B. Sucks to be you. Like that's all he has to say.
But I guess he said he's missing teeth. That was the middle one. Yeah.
Yikes.
So which might be a result of the Hep B. I don't know.
I don't know
the
the symptoms.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do I know if I have
and so
hepatitis
Trey
B?
handled it really well, but he was just like, I think you just took care of it. And then he stopped yelling. So a friend that I go to the gym with, she works there. And so I asked her about it and said, oh, she's like, as soon as someone yells, security throws him out almost right away.
Oh, that's amazing.
So like, because I was kind of surprised that he like stopped yelling.
Yeah.
You know, like because he was so aggressive.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was so good having Brad and his wife Catherine in our home. Just so fun. We got to watch Home Alone 2 together. And I gotta say, I was shocked at how well both Brad and
they were like, oh, we love this movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like everybody loves Home
Alone. I
Alone.
could say that a lot about a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But I couldn't word
Jeff
for
could
word.
say that about every movie.
Get out of here. Get him out of here. Unsubscribe. But I can't. I mean, I definitely have movies I can quote the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I have to stop myself from talking right along with it.
Yeah.
But Home Alone 2 is not one of them.
It is for Brad and Catherine.
Yes, it is.
Big time. They were almost word for word at times.
Like, and then ping ponging like back and forth between who took the line.
And so we had watched Home Alone 1. It was like one of those movies we kept putting off for our kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to have the remote. And honestly, Home Alone 1 is great once you get past his family disappearing.
Yeah.
Because like it's how they treat Kevin in those early scenes that is like real aggressive with the language, kind of hard to watch, a little painful. And so we just kind of skipped a bunch of that stuff and just explained it as we went.
Yeah.
Home Alone 2 is actually much more family friendly.
For the I would say so overall.
You know, like I think they swear once or something, but like overall, I think it's just, and it's so over the top.
More lighthearted because it was so over the top. Yeah.
But when there's a part where Marv falls through a hole and he goes, wow, what a hole. And so now I'm going to say that at the beach every time I'm done. And June and Sunny have not stopped saying it.
No, anytime they can insert that, they do.
Yeah. And then Junie's also been going, hiya, pal. So I'm on to, I asked her today, I said, which grandparents do you want to watch it with?
Oh.
When we get to Pennsylvania, because we stay a little bit at Brooke's house, a little bit at my parents' house. And she's like, I don't know. I feel like Norky would really like it.
Oh, my dad, yeah.
But I also know that Papa and I really like movies.
Oh, they do.
And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I want to say both, but am I allowed to? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
We watched twice. I'm totally up for that.
Wow.
So might be watching Home Alone 2 twice.
That's fine.
But yeah, Brad and Catherine.
It's the one I remember more.
And
like
I think
when we were first like, hey, let's think about Home Alone this year for the kids. Like, what do we need to skip? I was like, oh, Bird Lady. Like that was my memory.
Not scary at all.
Not really.
Not
She's
really.
actually less scary than I remember her to be.
Shovel Guy's way scarier.
Chubby guy. That's what Daisy calls a shovel. A shubby. SUHBIE.
Which sort of sounds inappropriate.
I know, but it's so cute when she's like, Shubby mine. Where? I'm like, I don't know where your Chevy is.
So yeah,
I hope we find it.
So yeah, that's kind of what was happening last week, and it was so fun. And then the rest of this week has been honestly just gearing up to get to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We leave tomorrow, and we have been hard at work on Homejoy, which is done.
It's done.
Which is here's the thing. So there's a board on.
I know. I'm like, have we recorded since any of those things over there? I literally can't remember what we talked about last.
I'm not sure. But there's a board. We have these like little magnet boards on our office wall. And
the magnetic
mine
ones?
has my like couple of like just encouraging lines for us. Brooke says what matters most. I'm actually going to move the board.
Dying. Oh, so you can see the magnets? Uh-huh.
So Brooks has what matters most, Homejoy, new website, and Rhythms Made Simple. And we put that stuff up there, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And we just finished the last one.
All three of those have crossed the finish line.
And I was thinking about that today when I was looking at that. No, they're all done.
Well, now that Homejoy is ready, I need to link something on the new website.
Okay, yeah. But
because it's not linked right now,
Yeah.
but it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just am here's what I've learned over the last year, and especially looking at that board today and finishing the course and just being so excited about it being completed, is that like it says what matters most, and it's 3 things. And it's 3 things that took us so long to finish. And I think that sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to pick what matters most. And Brooke talks about this in the course. And it's going to then take it's going to get all my attention for all of time. And as parents of young children who run businesses and homeschool and try to stay physically fit and all this kind of stuff, like there's so much else going on that like what matters most sometimes does take central focus.
Yeah.
But then there's times where that focus is so narrow, or those hours are so slim, or the time you have for it is so tiny that it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I think what I was realizing today when I looked at that and was working on the course and thinking like, oh my word, we're finally here, was like, if something is hard to do or takes a long time to complete, it doesn't mean it didn't matter most to you, because good things and hard things take time and effort and energy. Like a course that we finished quickly in a weekend because it was easy. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that would have mattered as much. I don't know if that would have been like held such weight in our hearts and minds that like we really wanted it to do it well and complete it appropriately and give it the right time and effort, instead of just like slapping it up there and thinking, oh, because as the person who's edited it and listened to every module in the last 2-3 days, I don't know, 6 times each.
Yeah.
By the time you're done, like fixing the audio, editing the audio, adding the slides, fixing the slides, doing a final check-in. Like, I've listened to it a bunch of times, and I am not the target audience. I am not a mom. I am very different than Brooke is, but I honestly walked away with like a ton of encouragement and inspiration of just like, this is such a thought out full system of almost lifestyle to manage your life in a way that allows you to just do the things that you love, gives you time and space. And something you say in the course often is allows you to close a lot of the open tabs in your brain so that you can focus on what you love. And I feel like, having those tabs open all year, and the
tabs on the wall, if you will.
And then having other tabs open in my brain, I realized while listening to the course over and over again at 2 times speed that I need the Homejoy system to help me with some of that stuff. And so I was just, again, the first time we did it earlier in this year. Brooke taught it live 5 nights in a row to anybody who joined and paid, which was awesome for those people that did that. And it was kind of like this test, like, let's see if there's an audience for it. Let's see if people are interested
or is it only working for me?
In this type of topic. And people were, which was really encouraging to us. And it was like, okay, teaching it live isn't sort of sustainable. Why don't we really write it out, record it, and all this kind of stuff? And I didn't watch it live because I was making sure kids didn't come upstairs.
You joined in at one point, and then what was happening that made
my mic went off? Like I had my headphones in, and I was like,
unmuted. Yeah, that's right.
And so then I panicked.
I can hear you.
I panicked, quit, and threw my phone against the wall.
Smart.
And
would you do that to a plant?
No. And so I honestly had never. I didn't read the script. The last few days is the first time I heard it.
Oh, and that's true. I didn't even think about that.
I had nothing to do with it. I just knew it was coming. And I knew that at some point, my position would be to edit it, fix the audio, add the slides, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was basically all new. Obviously, I live with you. I see you incorporate these systems in our lives. I'm familiar with your templates. I'm familiar with how you do and how you make your brain work and all this kind of stuff. But I hadn't listened to it
as like a cohesive
thing.
Hey, like a piece. Yeah.
And blown away.
Oh, thank you.
10 out of 10, 5 stars. Probably.
Will you leave a review? So we have a review when we launch. and then I'll link it on the website.
Probably one of, if not the best piece of content you've ever created.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
And
or at least I feel that way from like like how hard I worked on it and how much like I want it to work for people.
yes,
I don't want it to just be this like, well, it works for her. And like, you know, which I talk about in the class. Like,
and
yeah,
I
thank
got
you.
to the last point and with tears in my eyes at 2 times speed, you know, editing it, I was just blown away by just the width of it as well as the depth of it and just how easy it was to absorb. And so if you, again, Brooke didn't know I was going to say this. This is not like a scripted podcast. This is a no notes podcast, but I just feel so passionate about this product because of how good it is that like, if you're a mom,
even if you're not a mom, if you're just managing like your home and all your stuff and trying to work and stuff.
Yeah. But specifically if you're a mom, because that's who I know. I know you as a mom.
Yeah.
This course will transform your motherhood.
Yeah, I think,
and
I
it
really
will
think that
allow
it could,
you,
if you let it and you do it.
Yep.
And it takes time. I do talk about that.
Yep.
Like,
but you have 6,900 minutes in a week, and it only takes about 10 to 15 to set up this thing. So don't get me going. I can keep going.
Wasn't that wild though when you saw
Yes.
the number of minutes? Not even minutes, waking minutes.
Yeah.
Average waking minutes in a week. I was like, oh my word.
But yeah, I think like, especially as we finish off a year and we get to that point at the end of the year where we think, hey, how can like, you know, like for me, I'll be honest, and then I'll kind of circle back to this is like, I'm at the end of the year, I'm looking at our business and I'm thinking, gosh, I wish I was in a better spot than I am now. And I find myself feeling frustrated and embarrassed and irritated and down on myself that I'm not in a better spot. And because it's the end of the year, I think that weight feels heavier. Like, what did I do the last 12 months that made me end here? Even though I know my life's not over.
Right.
Even though I know my business isn't over.
There's a natural end reflection. It's one of the only places I think in life that reflection is naturally built in.
And so I find myself feeling like, gosh, I just like, could I have done something different? Could I have changed something? Could I have, and there can be a good side and a bad side of that. The bad side is you can just like really just beat yourself up and kind of crush your own soul and think like, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'll never get better at it. Or you can kind of like feel that feeling of maybe anger or frustration or pain or just, and decide now that I'm going to take it into the next year. I'm going to take this December 2023 of TJ. And by December 2024 of TJ, he's going to feel very different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend all year implementing better systems and maybe more accountability and smarter decisions and all this kind of stuff so that by 2024 of December, I feel like you did it. You did a better job.
Right.
You did a better job stewarding what the Lord has given you. So if you're a mom and you're feeling like you're coming to the end of the year and you're like, did I even look my kids in the eyes? Did I even spend time with them? Did I lose my cool all the time? Like,
was our house a mess?
Was our house like anything?
Dinner,
or if you're
always
just
chaos.
Yeah, like just those feelings of maybe guilt or mom guilt or regret or whatever that a trip to Target and a latte aren't going to fix. This course will help it. Yeah. I think if you take the class and you commit to the sort of even not even all the processes, even if you just pick one or two things.
Like, if you try to implement all this day one, that's silly and you're missing the point.
There's 7 modules. If you could implement one thing from each module for the first 7 months of the year, I think you would end December 2024 and think, man, what a year that we stewarded really well, especially as a mom, what's been given to me, which is my kids. And I am just blown away. I can't say enough good things about it.
Oh, thanks.
It's 10 out of 10. And I'm just so proud of you. And that list is done. And so I love that right before we leave, we're going to wipe that list off the board of what matters most. And we get to dream again and get to start again and get to decide what is the next thing that we can take little tiny steps at that hopefully by December 2024 is like, hey, these huge things, because those aren't small tasks. Those aren't tiny things.
They're not.
Those are things that started in January
the conversation started in January. We were having conversations about the two e-courses by like March.
They required time and energy and testing and people and hiring and money and resources and all these things.
Yeah. And
now they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge congratulations to you.
Oh, well, to both of us. Thank you.
And so, yeah, so it was just like that just is so fun. And again, like I haven't really made us any money. And that's the crazy thing that like the feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment is just
not because it went live 20 minutes ago or whenever.
Yeah.
And we sold 1,000 courses. Yeah. It's like no, it's done. Like it's done completed. And that is
and it feels like it was done well. And especially that really matters to you. I know that. And that used to not matter to me as much. Mm-hmm. And as I've learned to understand you and how you tick and get the PhD in my wife, I'm realizing that matters way more than I originally led it to. And so for me not to rush it or push it or cram it early in the year and do a half as good a job, makes me feel like, okay, I've grown. 2020 TJ in December would have rushed that
100%.
out and then given up on it because it didn't do well because it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And so, I'm stoked. Go buy it. It's amazing.
The only other person to see it is copywriter Jess. She hasn't seen she's read the script so that she could write some stuff for us. And she loved it. And she said she's a Homejoy convert. So.
Amazing. Should we give a discount code since we just went on and on about it?
If you'd like
to. Let's use the code butt clencher. No, I think
no, that already exists.
Yeah, that's been existed many, many times.
Hold on. Brain power.
Brain power.
Is that it?
Yeah,
is that
brain
the code?
power for a discount on the Homejoy course. I'll link it in the show notes, or you just go to our shop.walkandlove.com, click on courses.
Yeah.
We have this code will work on either course, Rhythms Made Simple, Homejoy, or the bundle, as a way to just
an additional discount on the bundle.
No, just on the two singles.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the bundle's already discounted. But yeah, so proud of you, babe.
Oh, and thank you.
Now we're gearing up to head to the Arctic Northeast. And we're excited about it.
Yeah,
so
I am.
We have house guests that are going to stay in our home because of someone on the podcast. Did we tell that story?
I don't know. I literally am like, who? It's like you, because you talked to Brad in an episode and I talked to Bianca in an episode. And so I'm looking at you like, have we talked about this? I don't know. I don't think so.
So
2 episodes ago? 3 episodes ago?
Even if we don't, it's such a cool story that I'm going to tell it again.
Okay.
So we had the podcast episode on Simple Money, Rich Life, which is by Bob Lodick.
I don't know how to say it.
I think he said Lodix. Let's roll.
I wasn't listening, but he did say that.
And so someone in our audience shared that with him.
Because she listens to their podcast too.
Yeah. And said, hey. And so they messaged us. And I feel like I've told this story, but maybe I've just told it to people in real life.
I don't know. Are we here right now? Are we recording?
I don't know what the ad says, future or past, but what I do know is that someone in our audience shared it with them.
Yeah.
They messaged us. And so as soon as they messaged us, I was like, oh, they should stay in our house.
Right.
So I voice memoed them and said, hey,
we're not creepers.
We're not weirdos. You should come to Maui and stay in our home and enjoy Maui at Christmas time. Yeah. And so they're here.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. They came here. They can land today. They're staying in a hotel for one night and then going to drive us to the airport tomorrow, which is super nice. And so that's crazy.
That is crazy.
And
at one point I looked at her and I said, you did it.
Yeah.
You guys actually came.
And they were asking us like, are you guys excited for the trip? And yes, I am excited to go to Pennsylvania for numerous reasons.
Yeah.
We get to see family. We get to see friends. We get to see some of you at the Christmas Extravaganza and the day after pop-up shop and some of you at the VIP dinner, which we picked the menu for.
And dang.
I'll take 2. But I'm such a softie now when it comes to the cold.
Oh.
That's the only thing that I find myself being like, again, am I outside very much in the Northeast at Christmas time?
Right. No.
But I do. But enough. You got to pump gas at least once while we're there. And so like when they were asking us, are you excited? I was just
I didn't even think about that.
I am. But then I watched all the football games today. They were on while we were doing stuff. And I was like, it looks so cold.
So cold.
but we're super stoked. Christmas Extravaganza. I mentioned this on the Facebook group. If you didn't see it there, I'll say it here again. We have plenty of space. The venue is big.
Yeah.
And we had enough people buy tickets that we were able to pay for the venue, pay for Jesse to come and sing, and pay for all the prizes.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. So mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And because of that, and because we know what it's like to have a really hard year, a year where you're just like, I can't do anything fun. There's no money left in the budget. Christmas gifts are going to be lame. Like, it's just a stinky financial year. We've been there and we know how that feels. We want to give anybody who wants one a free ticket to the Extravaganza. Just use the code free ticket when you check out. You can buy one for you, for your spouse, for friends. Like someone messaged me today, was like, hey, I already got my tickets, but like, could I invite family to come with me?
100%.
And so, and we started planning the event and I'm getting excited. It's going to be next level compared to what last year was. In terms of like, one, Jesse's going to be there singing her heart out and just like making us weep. Two, we have some fun games planned for some special audience members. And we are going to record the last episode of the podcast and really just kind of recap the year, talk about the year. And I think it's just going to be tons of fun. We're going to be there to take pictures and hang with you. And I am very excited about that. Just the weather's the only thing that I find myself being like, unless it snows. If it snows,
then it's kind of magical and fun.
Yeah, super fun. I'm all in.
Yeah.
It's
like the bitter, windy cold.
Yeah. I was texting Matt and I was like, where are you working out? Like trying to figure out what I'm going to do for
the gym, you mean?
For working out.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'll just take a little break from CrossFit and do something else.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like I work out here. And he's like, I work out at 7, which is sometimes hard when it's 20 degrees outside. And I was just like, oh, that does sound hard. Like, 2 days ago, I was riding my bike to the gym and it's winter here, which means it's like 5 degrees colder.
No, it's a little more than that. In the morning, late at night, it's like I got a massage yesterday from Sarah and I was cold after the massage. And she was like, I've been cold too lately. It was like 68 the other day. And I was like, I'm freezing. I was like, oh man.
I had this moment where I'm riding my bike to the gym. And again, when I'm leaving for the gym, the sun has just started to come out.
Yeah.
And so,
and you're riding a bike.
And I'm riding a bike. So the wind's blowing on me and I had a sweatshirt on, but just shorts. And I found myself thinking like, man, I'm kind of chilly. And then also in that same like thought process being like, TJ, you're a wimp.
Yeah.
It's going to be 60 degrees colder where you're going.
Yeah.
Not 10, not 5, not even 20.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, that's possible.
So it's
possible.
Like, man up, TJ.
Yeah. I know. That's why that room in my parents' house with the wood stove is just like
heaven
an
on
actual
earth.
game changer because it's just the best heat and you just melt into the couch. Like, I think I live here now.
Yeah. While we're in Pennsylvania, if you see us at a Target, at a Starbucks,
hide,
at a Chick-fil-A,
and then jump out. Right?
Oh, you want to be scared?
No, I'm kidding. That sounds like a nightmare.
I love that.
Okay, well, you can scare TJ.
No, please scare Brooke.
Oh my word.
But just like make eye contact with me and make your eyes real big before you do.
Like it's happening. So you know, hey Brooke, over there, what's in that rack of clothes right there?
But here's what's happened. We're somewhere on the mainland and we're at some place and we leave that place.
Yeah.
Usually it's a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Because that's where the Christians hang. And then we get a message that says, hey, were you just at Chick-fil-A?
And I'm like, yeah.
And then we get a zoomed in photo of ourselves. So
it does not happen that often.
It doesn't happen that often. But when it does, I always think you should have just come and said hello.
Yeah.
Because we love meat and butt clenchers. And yeah, that's just total.
Do you remember the one time, if this person's listening, this is wild because I remember this.
Okay.
Remember when we were handed cupcakes at Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
And we didn't know. They were like, hey guys. And we're like, hi, hi. We're chatting.
Yeah.
These are for you. And I'm like, 1, you didn't know we were going to be here. 2, why do you have cupcakes right now? I don't understand what's happening. I'm a little nervous to eat these. Full disclosure. And the kids were like, cupcakes. Wait. I don't know what's happening right now.
She did explain that they were having a birthday party and she had brought them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But the way it was initially
like,
phrased was like, these are for you and you alone.
Yeah.
Like
I've been following you for days.
Yes. They're a little stale.
With my cupcakes.
Yeah.
Waiting for the time and the moment.
Yeah.
to spring them upon you, and that time is now.
Yeah.
Take these cupcakes and remember me.
I do remember her. I can even kind of picture her face.
All right. Well, anything else?
Gosh, I think our intro was a pretty solid. I think that was accurate to how my brain
It was funny. Last time before we left
feels right now.
for
The 4th of July.
4th of July with the never-ending trip in the airport,
Yes.
we had just finished Rhythms Made Simple.
Yes.
And we had said, we can't talk. Here's the first 2 modules. We're not doing that today.
Yeah.
We had at least enough wits to discuss some things.
Did we?
Did we? Was Phoebe there?
I don't think we did. I don't really know. No, I don't know if I have anything to add. I don't feel like.
What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
How was your week?
It was good. It actually was better than the last few weeks. I was having a conversation with Bianca last Sunday, I guess, when we were swimming at their house, and we were just chatting about all the things. And at one point, she was like, "Okay, so it sounds to me like you're
this was a good
you're
word.
tired of living reactively, or not living." I think we were talking about a specific, I think about something in business, not just like all of life. And I was like, yes, 100%. Like it was like she sifted through and filtered through everything I was just like blah, 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 about. And like, that's the piece she pulled out as like, here, take this. And it was so helpful because what it made me realize is that I had loosened up. No, that's not the right phrase. That makes me sound like I hold it all so tightly. I had chillaxed a little bit.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
There's not enough.
I mean,
There's not enough ways.
You don't get enough chillax references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was my time.
Yeah.
On the weekly template that I use. And here's what happened.
Bonus feature in the Homejoy.
And this is what, because I didn't want to say that I've relaxed because that makes it sound like I was like stressed about the template use, which I'm not at all. It's so amazing. And there's so much freedom in having things written down and thought out like that. But I honestly think that it happened after Moms on Maui, because you took my iPad to Moms on Maui.
I did, yes.
And so I didn't use my iPad, which is fine.
Yeah, because
like totally fine.
I wasn't about to travel with 3 kids and one iPad.
Yes, exactly. But then when it came back, I just like didn't get back into the swing of 100%. I just like didn't get back into the swing of using it the way I use it to like really like just make all the things happen.
Because it's your laptop.
It's my laptop. It is. That's what I would say I use it as. But because it's not an actual laptop, that's what my brother used to call it when he was so little. Laptop, I don't have the same expectations that I'm going to get like big work things done on it. It's like a glorified phone for me, but it's also not my phone because I'm not scrolling Instagram on my iPad. Like it's like this. Yeah.
It's a giant iPad.
Whoosh as I like scroll up, you know.
Yeah.
It's like this perfect middle ground.
It is, honestly.
And I said this in the live version of Homejoy. I did not put this in the actual course, but I talk a lot about like choosing just about how like the tool won't change you if the practice isn't in place.
You talk about that in Homejoy a lot.
Yes. Just like, you know, the running shoes aren't going to make you suddenly go to the gym every day if you're not already going to the gym every day.
Plus, if you're going to go to the gym, I think you should be wearing like a flat bottom, wide toe based lifting shoe that is multi-purpose.
Yeah.
So running shoes with a squat will actually do more damage to your body than some solid. But if you only have running shoes and you want to do your aerobic stuff at the gym, those are fine.
Yeah.
But if you're going to squat, take those off, or you're going to deadlift, take those off and just do it barefoot or in your socks.
Love it.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry. And I do feel that way. There are so many times in life where the tool, the new pens for your notebook, the new this for that, the whatever for that.
Yeah. I fall into that trap with like technology. I think, if I'm gonna buy this technology,
and then it'll suddenly change my systems and workflows.
I'm going to like make more content or shoot more video or edit, like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things that I am realizing at the end of the year, that I'm like, I did better this year. Didn't nail it, but I did better at not doing that.
Correct.
Multiple
I didn't know where
times.
you were headed, so I couldn't agree sooner.
Yeah.
100%. However,
I like that one.
Well, that I didn't know where you were headed.
Well,
I was like, you
so
did.
I couldn't agree sooner.
Yeah, that's the truth that came out. I was just like, I don't know what he's going to confirm, so I can't be like, yeah. However, and so I did say this live, that iPad is the one thing that I will say the tool legit changed me.
Yeah.
Like, and again, because it's not this laptop where I have the expectations of work and all the other things.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I'll edit photos. I'll do all these like big, heavy lifting things, but it's also not my phone. And so I don't get distracted by my iPad.
Yeah.
I'm using it as like a glorified communications. I text from it. I do email from it.
It's almost like a home phone. A little bit.
It's like my home station, like my little, but homework.
Yeah.
But not homework station.
Yeah.
So anyway, I realized that like I had kind of fallen out of that a little bit, which is so interesting. And then I start working on the course again and then have the conversation with Bianca. And I was like, that's it. Like I'm not necessarily living reactively in all of life because that's not true. It was mostly in some business things. But I definitely was feeling like I'm holding too many things in my head because I have not taken the time to write them down. And so I feel this nervousness of like, I'm going to forget something or.
Well, I once heard it in a course where someone said, sometimes when we have so much on our mental plate, we move it to our physical plate in hopes that that's going to relieve the stress in our lives. Mm-hmm. But in reality, adding it to our physical plate just gives us more to do when we might not have to even do it right now and we can save it for later. So to save it for later, we need to take it off our mental plate and just put it somewhere where we can go back and look at it to complete it later.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's your takeaway from that little section. Interesting.
Fantastic.
I know. Thank you.
I knew where you were going.
I just couldn't agree sooner. No, that's interesting. I added that very last minute while.
Oh, I love that part.
While recording, I added that.
I think that I really struggle because, and Bianca gave us a compliment when she was talking to you. She's like, you guys are good at sort of like pivoting and changing direction and like doing things on the fly. That sometimes that if you're good at stuff like that, it can become a crutch.
Yes. If you're good at thinking quickly and making it look nice, fast, and like doing all that stuff, you think, I can just live in that space.
And we have at times.
But then I feel like I'm living in that space.
Yeah. And we don't tend
to
plan and really think long-term, specifically on the business side. On the family side, I feel like we're actually, it's funny. Like we're better at that on the family side.
Yeah.
Where I feel like most people are better at that on the business side and want to take it over to the family side.
Yeah,
so we're kind of the opposite. And I tend to make my to-do list off of just things that are physical, that are on my mental list. Mm-hmm. And I just put them on my physical list.
Yeah.
Kind of haphazardly, not in the best way to like fully engage with life. And so, taking your course 17 times was like, man, I do this. And,
it's also kind of a version of the like, so there's one section where I'm talking about like your inbox, like the digital place that you're like taking note of all the things you don't want to forget. That like
Can I sidebar right there real quick?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Brad. We're sitting at the couch when all the kids were in bed. We're chit chatting. And I was like, we were talking podcast stuff. And I was like, one thing that you guys are so good at
Ghost Runners, you're complimenting them.
Is like, they are so good at just like talking about a lot of different topics and like kind of weaving them in and out and like just being funny about them and doing their thing. And he's like, well, we take notes all week long about like, this is going to happen.
On their own life. Yeah. And thoughts.
And so I'm like, I'm going to do that.
Look at you. The practice will change. Like you just get that tool out, you make it happen.
I have a note.
So you took notes for this week? Okay. Tell me all about them.
No, November 24th.
Oh, okay. So not this week. And then you blacked out. Now we're back.
But Brad wasn't here on November 24th. So I must have just had that conversation with him and not taken any notes even since then.
Yeah. Cool.
So my one note says podcast chat.
Okay.
Post Thanksgiving weigh-in. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, because what you think it means, I don't even think it means that. I have no memory of that conversation.
I forget who I was talking about it with, but I feel like we were just like kind of just joking about like how, I never weigh myself anymore. I just do it once a year after Thanksgiving meal. And we thought it was really funny, but now that I read
definitely
it,
not that funny. Yeah. So I'm talking about how your inbox,
end of notes,
the place where you write down all the things, is not the same as your to-do list.
Yeah.
like your brain dump, you're like, I have to get it all out.
Yeah.
And, you jot down on paper or wherever, like this massive list. Cause I do it too, even still. And then I look at that and I'm like, there's my to-do list. Like, you know what I mean? And like, it's so overwhelming because it's not the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
Jotting everything down so you just remember it later is different than, moving it. So you're taking it off your mental plate by writing it down, a place you'll check, which is so different than like moving it to, like, this is going to be on my physical plate today. I'm going to make this thing happen because that makes sense for today.
Yeah. And I feel like, what I learned during the course was, and basically what I like kind of foresaw of like, as people take this course, like I would encourage people to listen to it a few times because, my second or third time through, I had like another little nugget or game changer or like, and some of it is like, there's like obviously main,
little chubby.
Yeah. There's like main topics for each of the modules. And obviously there's like, you go into depth on those topics, but then you throw out just like one little line like that.
Yeah.
And that honestly, like there's moments like that where I feel like people will have these like takeaways that like, you didn't even you're like, oh, I just added that in towards the end. It was like one of the last things I added. And for me, it was like one of my biggest things.
One of your light bulbs. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's really cool. Like, I think that's also the power in sort of doing this, taking the course is like, you might come away with some really big giant nuggets, but then you might come away with just this like tiny little nug, and, really let it transform you. And so, yeah, I'm just stoked on it.
Thank you. You must be, because we were not planning to talk about this.
No.
And here we are 46 minutes in.
But yeah. So that's it. That's all we got.
Is that all we got?
The only other thing I say we have is, I also wanted to I realized that here's something I realized. The 25 Teas of Christmas was probably not my smartest business move because I've learned that I'm good at hyping things up.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hype things up as they slowly trickle out daily. And then I also realized that like we never awarded the podcast audience with a discount code because we like for some reason weren't treating it like a collection because they were coming out daily. And so like very confusing time for me as a business owner, feeling like you second guess everything, which is fun. It's a fun place to be. Also on top of that, it was fun for one of the fans of the Ghost Runners podcast to say that I'm not relatable. So that was just like a fun moment this week on their Facebook page where I was like, oh, I'll take 2 of those. Thank you and goodbye. But it's okay. I have found a lot of peace in the last few weeks that like, I just want to be poured out. That's what the song I've been listening to. I just want to be poured out for Jesus.
You were going to say, I want to be poor.
No, I don't. I would, but if that's what he asked for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
was a split second where I thought that was your sentence.
No, I've just been realizing that like, again, similar to like ending this end of the year feeling like, could have done stuff better. I wish that would have gone differently. That sort of feeling, seeing a couple comments online of just like, gosh, when you see those, you're just like, what? I'm just trying. Like, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just a normal guy. I think maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm unrelatable. I don't know. Whatever. But it still gets to you. And I just like, I think I've been having these sort of like in my quiet time and my moments with the Lord that just like all of that stuff weighs too heavily on me. And what I want to weigh heavily on me is the burdens the Lord puts on me. And I have a heavy burden to allow to provide tools and inspiration and things for Christians to experience more joy in their lives. And I was like, we've done that with t-shirts for almost 2 decades. And so that, that was another reason that I was like so encouraged and kind of emotional about the course was like, man, what an awesome tool to provide for people to like experience more joy, to be more poured out for the Lord and for Jesus with their families and their houses and their homes, and their role as mom, wife, etc. And so, yeah, it's just a really fascinating week that started with me vomiting and now has ended with me rambling a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard me, but I was in the bathroom vomiting and vomiting. And I definitely feel like a sense of lightness and just, again, some of the burdens that I've carried this week aren't gone.
Correct.
Like some of the things still weigh heavy on me, but like, I feel like what Jesus is showing me again and again this year is that like, he is everything. He is like, it is all for him and all for his glory. And it's when I try to make it about me or my thing or my goals or whatever, like that's when it gets heavy and burdensome. But when I'm just like, just take it, just use it, just show me, which I don't always get right, I find myself feeling lighter and freer, even amidst the sort of heaviness of life. Like, I think it's a line in the EP that I've been listening to that's like, you know, in every season, I just want to be poured out. And so, yeah, so this week has been sort of like this really weird, because like even that comment that I found, like I texted to Brad and he was just like, that's tough. And he's like, but I relate to you. And,
Aww.
you know, and he's just like super encouraging to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it was just a very interesting week that ended on that's ending on a super high note.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm like looking back at sort of that small thing, feeling like, that's like, it's that was really small compared to some of the other things that happened this week.
Yeah.
And I think TJ of maybe December 2023 would have let that eat out of him much more. 2022.
Yeah.
And even earlier would have let that eat at him a lot more.
Yeah, you would have picked up that rock and left it in your backpack a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels good to like not be that. And that encourages me that hopefully in December 2024, I won't feel some of the things I feel this year.
Yeah.
Like I'll be, you know, even lighter and more free because I'm just more poured out for the Lord.
Yeah.
So encouragement
So
to you guys
good.
to do the same.
I love it.
But I didn't give a code for the 25 Ts.
Specifically for the 25 Ts? No.
Which is the first one that you see?
Sorry, I can't quite reach them. Hold on. Ugh.
We'll just make that the code.
We've done all these codes before.
How about that one? Abide in me.
That's not a code existing.
If it is, I'll delete it. Okay. Abide in me for savings as a podcast listener on the 25 Ts of Christmas. It'll basically just work on the whole shop.
Oh, okay.
Because that's all that's in the shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say is if you live in the Pennsylvania area, you can come to Christmas Extravaganza with the free ticket if you need it. But then we're also having a pop-up shop the day after. And our fulfillment center sent me a list of items that we have, and it's over 1,000 items.
Yeah.
The biggest.
Legitimately think it's the biggest pop-up shop we've ever done.
And we'll discount them a huge amount for people who want to come in person. And then we hope as well to have some Sunny Morrow stuff.
Yeah.
That won't be discounted.
Right. But it'll be there.
But it'll be there to touch and feel and try on and all that
person.
kind of things. And we'd love to see you. We'd love to hang, take some pictures. June and Sunny have some Christmas stickers that they've designed. And the Christmas Extravaganza is going to be so fun. I think it's going to end up being one of the highlights of the year because I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. And we're super stoked. I think that's finally all that we have. Just kept it short.
LOL. Sorry.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
What are we doing?
Nope, that's not the right one. I got it. Hold on. Okay, I love you. Bye. Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait, are you going to cut it out or are we just doing it again?
No, we're just doing it again.
Okay.
Okay, I love you. Bye.